So it was a victory yesterday for Sunderland. We beat Shrewsbury Town 1-0 in what was a thrilling, enthralling, brilliant encounter at the stadium. Like, well, it wasn't really. It was a terrible, terrible spectacle. And to be honest, I have to admit that the second half I actually struggled to maintain concentration. I had a few other things going on, and there just wasn't much happening, and it felt like Sunderland were kind of just happy to hold on to a 1-0 lead. It felt very much like a Phil Parkinson 1-0 home win. But I did write down a few questions yesterday, and I'm going to look back at them now and see whether or not I think we answered them. The first one, a good performance. Well, the first half was good, I have to say. We came out the traps pretty well early doors. I was impressed with the way we started, the intensity we came at. We deserved our goal and we got it through Charlie Wyke. So the first half was good. The second half was terrible, and we really really struggled to really put any authority on the game in the second half, and it didn't feel like a Lee Johnson performance. We seemed to get very defensive, and we were struggling to really put our stamp on the game at that point. The next question, well, it's just win at home, and we did that. We did win at home, and I think that's the first win at home in. Have we beaten anyone at home since we beat Ipswich in like November? I don't know if we have. Maybe we've won one since then, but it feels like we haven't won at home forever. Probably should have checked that as research, but as I say, I've been quite busy the last couple of days, so it was a win at home. You can't knock that. You can't knock a clean sheet, so you can't be too negative. But in terms of the quality of a win, that yesterday was probably the lowest quality win you'd see, and I think it's probably the least enthusiastic a fan base could be after a victory, just because of how poor the game was and how poor the performance was really in the second half. The next one, again, it was just a question of did we keep a clean sheet? Well, we did keep a clean sheet. I can't really recall too many times where Shrewsbury actually tested us all that much. I think towards the end of the game they were putting pressure on. We were holding on a little bit, but I can't remember them getting too close, but I could be wrong. As I say, I didn't particularly catch the second half in full depth, but we kept a clean sheet, and that was important. And we do have our strongest point is probably our defence. You know, we all know that Bailey Wright and Jordan Willis, if they play together, are going to be good. We've now got Lugo 9 coming back into the fray as well. It's a shame Denver Hume's currently out injured, because I don't think McFadzean's necessarily the answer going forward. But defensively, we actually got a pretty good unit, and we should be keeping more clean sheets than what we are at the minute, so it's good to keep that. The other question I had on there was about the centre midfield. I actually thought Josh Scowen, who I've been critical of in recent weeks, has picked up, and he picked up yesterday. I thought he was probably, I would say he was probably our best player on the pitch. He's certainly one of them. He was strong. He won a few good tackles, particularly in the first half. He helped us keep the intensity up, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. And Grant Ledbetter, he is what he is. I saw there was a great picture of when we scored of him, acting like a fan and cheering, which was always nice. But I think Ledbetter has a vital cog in this team, so I was happy to see him play well as well. So I think we did do well in that centre midfield battle. So I think in terms of ticking off the questions, the only one that we didn't get was really a good performance. Other sort of things worth pointing on, I read today that Will Grigg and Danny Graham, potentially they're looking at offloading them in January. Certainly think Danny Graham, just a hopeless footballer. If any suitors are watching this, though, he's brilliant. But yeah, he's not great. So Danny Graham, would not be surprised if he left. He obviously just doesn't, whatever it is about Sunderland and Danny Graham does not mix very well. So, if they could find a way of getting rid of him, that would be ideal. Will Grigg, I'd be interested to see what happens with him. I was kind of hoping that Lee Johnson could be the one that figured out how to get Will Grigg on fire, as the song goes. But I wouldn't be shocked. Really wouldn't be shocked if Will Grigg left Sunderland anytime soon. Elsewhere, you've got to really give plaudits to Charlie Wyke. He was, well, it wasn't necessarily brilliant when he scored a hat-trick, but he scored a hat-trick, and you can't take that away from him. Then on Tuesday midweek, he was absolutely terrible. Just really, really, really poor on Tuesday night. But then, he was very, very well. He was much better. He was much better on Saturday. His goal was superb. The header he scored was marvellous. Exactly what you want from a target man. It was a difficult goal to score. You got to give him credit for that. He missed an open net a little bit after that, but it was I wouldn't say it was an open net where he should have 100% scored, but he should have hit the target at least. I thought his overall play yesterday was far better, and I think him and O'Brien could could potentially build a little bit of a partnership together. They can be a bit of a handful. They're both quite physical. O'Brien's probably got a little bit more pace in his locker, but White seems to have a couple of other things maybe a bit stronger. You just wish with White that he'd just use his presence a little bit more. He often fails to get his sort of he doesn't put his authority on the centre halves, which would be nice. Other things worth pointing out: Luke O'Nien obviously returned. That's a big that's a big one for us because he's been a vital cog in this team for the last couple of years, and he's a player that I really like. He's a character you want around the dressing room, so I was happy to see him back in the fold. It looks like he might be playing in midfield as well, which will be interesting because he was, of course, a midfielder when we signed him, and we've, for whatever reason, turned him into a fullback. Maybe now we will put him back into that midfield position. So yeah, it's a win. We've got a game on Tuesday night, which we need to build momentum. That's the key thing right now. If we are to get promoted out of this league, we're lucky that everyone seems to be just dropping points up there at the minute. We've got still a very, very strong chance of getting in the playoffs. I think we're 9 points off promotion, so maybe that's not gonna come this season, but you never know. But I made a video last I think it was on Wednesday, just basically pointing out the fact we've got so many players out of contract, and that's big for us to recalibrate the club and recalibrate the playing staff. But it could work in our favour, and that they all know they're playing for contracts, and maybe that's kind of sunk in with them now. So we might see some better performances, a bit more commitment, a bit stronger in the tackle, and some of these players might start playing to earn their contracts, because on Tuesday night they certainly didn't look like it. I don't think they were necessarily much better on Saturday, but they did manage to pull out a bag and pull out a victory. We just need to make sure that we keep pulling forward and getting the ideas across, and hopefully we'll be sitting at the end of the season talking about wanting to keep 15 of them and not just 5, which is where we were last week. So thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you probably on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning after our game.